Hey guys, long time no see, Murder here, and this is going to be my RWBY Volume 2 World of Remnant 4 review, which is exclusive to the RWBY Volume 2 Blu-ray DVD set. So I highly recommend you go out and get this, if not just for the World of Remnant segment, to rewatch the series in gorgeous high definition quality, and just have some more RWBY until Volume 3 hits. But this was actually a really informative, kind of like a refresher course of the concept of aura, which Semblances are also included. This is going to be a review similar to that of my Dust, Kingdoms, and Grim review. I break down the episode, I break down the segment for you guys and my personal take of it, and give you guys something to think about in the meantime. So this is probably going to be my official RWBY review for the year until Volume 3 hits, until any trailers come out or anything like that in the future. So I hope you guys enjoy that, and let's just get into it. So we are introduced, or rather reintroduced, to the concept of aura, which we know from Volume 1 is a manifestation of the soul. We know that all living creatures, animals, humans, contain aura, as it is a part of them. It's kind of essentially your life force. Essentially, it's your soul. And everyone has it, from a shopkeeper to a merchant to a warrior, huntsman, huntress, etc. The only creatures or the only living things that do not possess aura are the creatures of Grimm, for they are the embodiment of anonymity, and they lack a soul. And I guess in a sense, you could also have a callback from Volume 1 from Jean, as it's like a force field. So in this segment, it's expressed in more details that aura acts as a defensive mechanism primarily, where it coats the wielder in a force field and has them essentially sustain damage while they fight, while they're in combat, this, that, and the other. And over time, it depletes as it sustains damage for you. Now, one thing that I actually want to, one thing that calls back to me based on this is the fact of Jean's aura. We know that when he first was introduced to it by Pyrrha, and he cut his face on the branch, and she apologized. She's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." It healed his scar almost instantaneously, to where she mentioned to him that he has a lot of aura. So I'm guessing aura is in different type of reserves, to where Jean's aura is really high, and he has a lot of aura to where he's able to instantly regenerate. And as well, just wondering overall, as he is in more combat, as they take more damage. If it's kind of like an organ, the more you use it, the more durable it gets over time. Or probably not an organ, more like your muscles. That's what I meant to say, muscles. So in this sense, we can see aura being used indirectly as the series progresses. Volume 2, especially with the food fight, Team Juniper versus Team RWBY. You got everyone just getting launched left and right. You had Yang getting knocked through the ceiling, coming back down like 5 minutes later, and they all made it out without a scratch. Also, from Pyrrha going up against Team Cardinal. In a normal anime or in a normal series, they would have all just been killed, but it's their aura that ended up protecting them. So the concept of aura has always been an active part of RWBY, but it's always been just laid out in the background, to where we can imply that the reason why they haven't died, or the reason why they haven't been gravely wounded, is because the aura is there acting in the behind the scenes. So from there, it actually elaborates even more on aura, is the fact that aura itself, it acts as a defensive mechanism, to where it can also be used in an offensive mechanism with semblances. And semblances, in a sense, are a controlled projection of your aura. It's a sense of taking your aura, controlling it into a tangible form that can be used offensively in combat, and projecting that outward in the form of an ability. Now, it acts as a offensive mechanism, like I mentioned, in combat, and I feel like a lot of characters have already expressed their semblances in the series thus far, but from Jean's perspective, it seems like your aura has to be discovered. It's not just something that's innate, kind of like aura. Like, everyone has aura. It's like all you have to do is probably awaken it over time, like Pyrrha had to awaken Jean's prematurely. But other than that, I feel like semblances have to be something that you essentially discover. And Jean is currently trying to discover his semblance through training with Pyrrha. And from there, we kind of already have an overall scheme of characters in the series who have projected or have showcased their aura. From Team RWBY, we have RWBY with her speed, Weiss with her glyphs, Blake with her shadow clones, and Yang with her Super Saiyan-like pain as power high risk, high reward semblance. From there, Team Juniper, the only character in Team Juniper that we know of their semblance is Pyrrha's, which is a polarity from Volume 1 when she helped Jean against that giant Ursa Major. But from there, we don't know about Ren's, Nora's, and Jean is still trying to discover his. It was showcased during this, officially during this segment that Glinda has telekinesis, which beforehand I was just like, okay, she's able to just control things or move things around or whatever. But in my mind, I was like, okay, obviously telekinesis, that wouldn't make sense. So she has telekinesis. From Team Sun, Sun is the only one from his team that has expressed his semblance, which is kind of like light decoys, kind of like the Monkey King's ability. Neptune hasn't showcased his, and we haven't even been introduced to Scarlet or Sage to where we can even speculate what theirs could potentially be. Team Coffee, we only got them at a combative standpoint. We only saw some of their weapons, no semblances from them. And then some other characters, while we can imply that they do have semblances, they were only demonstrated. They weren't elaborated on. For example, Penny, she's the first synthetic capable of generating an aura. So in that regard, I'm wondering if she also has a semblance to where she's actually able to use that giant laser beam attack during Volume 1. Cinder also uses kind of like fire elemental abilities to where I'm assuming that's her semblance, but there's nothing has been confirmed yet. And Neo, in the sense of her eyes changing color, her shattering glass ability, and all that stuff. So certain characters have been showcased, certain characters have been demonstrated to use semblances or semblance-like abilities, but nothing's been confirmed. And since all creatures have aura, especially animals, I'm wondering if Zwei, as the series progresses, if Zwei is going to actually have a semblance of his own. Granted, he has incredible endurance with being knocked by Oobleck's weapon in episode 10 or 11. And I'm just wondering, like, him as well, just because he's just as a member of Team RWBY as anybody else. But from there, you know, we have other characters, Emerald, Mercury, Roman Torchwick, you know, other characters that I don't really know if we're going to get showcasing of theirs, of their semblances in correlation to their weapons that we already know of. The teachers as well, Oobleck, Professor Port, Ironwood, Ozpin, and maybe even Crow, since we know Crow kind of uses a scythe since he taught RWBY how to use a scythe. So there's just a lot of speculation. There's a lot of things to keep me intrigued and anticipating in terms of semblances and how, you know, we're already excited to find out what certain weapon characters use, but then when we find out their semblances, that just opens up the doors to different types of combat styles, different types of abilities that are just going to be hype and action worthy when the Volume 3 and the series progresses as the series goes on. Now, one thing that I want to mention, and I mentioned this in a past review, is the concept of semblances to a character's personality traits. And like I mentioned in my past review, I saw a post on a RWBY Facebook group a while back that kind of demonstrated Team RWBY and how their semblances correlate to their personality. And two characters in particular that I'm going to mention is Blake. How in episode 10 of Volume 2, she mentioned that her semblance kind of acts on her own persona of how she used to run away from a lot of her troubles when they found out, you know, when her teammates found out she was a faunus. You know, when Adam was going crazy, she ended up running from that. And then, you know, she mentions that her semblance kind of gives her that opportunity to run away because that's who she is, or that's who she feels she is. So I'm wondering if in that concept of semblances connects to the personality of the character, because it was also mentioned in this segment that the characteristics of a semblance to a user is completely unique. Another example is Pyrrha. She has been isolated and ostracized because of her talents, to where she seeks affection, she seeks attraction from others to create these bonds and these friendships, to where she really has a good time hanging out with Jean. And it's ironic that her semblance is polarity, which is a force of attraction, in a sense, replicating her sense of attraction to other people to want to form friendships and you know, and bonds. So I'm wondering if over time we're going to get showcases from other characters who haven't expressed their semblances, to where I can say, okay, that would make sense because that's who that person is. Or it doesn't have to be every character, but just it would be really cool to see other characters who haven't expressed their semblances have a sense of relatability to their personality with their semblance. And then wrapping up, really interesting concept, kind of a theory, kind of foreshadowing, I don't really know, but the last line of this segment really got me thinking in correlation to the animation that it showcased. The line that they used was, with enough training and focus, a user's aura can turn them into something more than just a man. And, you know, at first glance, it's just like, okay, that just means, you know, at face value, that would just mean, okay, if a person uses, you know, trains and focuses a lot, their semblance can turn them into freaking a Super Saiyan, a god or something, or a different type of otherworldly warrior in terms of skill. But then it showcased Ozpin while that was being said, and he drinks his cup of coffee. It's a silhouette of Ozpin drinking his coffee with his cane, and it just flashes out. And I'm thinking, I'm like, no. That has to reference to something regarding Ozpin. With enough training and focus, a user's aura can turn them into something more than just a man. And right there, that got me thinking of, what if Ozpin's semblance does just that, turns him into something more than just a man? What if it's kind of like a transformation? And I don't know if any of you guys are avid in the anime community who watch Hunter x Hunter, but it's the same concept with Gone Freaks when he went through his nen and contracting to where he overwent a crazy transformation. He became like godly, like otherworldly because of that. And I'm wondering if that's almost the same concept in this regard of Ozpin's semblances can turn him into something more than just a man. And then I was thinking, I was like, he's always drinking coffee. What if he always drinks coffee to suppress that transformation? What if, you know, the fact that he's trained and he's done things in his past, and he, you know, like he said, he's made more mistakes than any man, woman, and child. A lot of things in his past that he's done, maybe it's in regards to how powerful he is and how delicate he handles situations. He's very tactful. He's very passive in many cases, and he doesn't lose his cool or anything like that. And maybe that's because, you know, his semblance gives him that ability to actually just go all out. Like right now, this is just wild speculations right now, but I feel like that last line of being more than just a man applies to Ozpin more than anything, just because of how the tone and the atmosphere was for that particular scene, especially since it cut out with Ozpin, and he was the only man that was expressed during this segment. But other than that, it was just pretty much a refresher course of aura, and it gives us a little bit more understanding of the difference between an aura and a semblance. One is used defensively, which is aura. One is used offensively, which is a semblance, which is the projection of one's aura, to where you can actually have a better understanding of how both work and how both act in unison with a huntsman or huntress with their already adaptive skills of their weaponry and such. But very good World of Remnant segment. I really did appreciate and enjoy it. Like I said, it's exclusive only to the Blu-ray DVD set. I don't know if there's anybody out there who has uploaded it to YouTube, or if Rooster Teeth has uploaded it to their channel yet. But very informative overall. If not for the segment, just get this anyway, just because, you know, to support the series, to rewatch it, and, you know, and to essentially hold us down until Volume 3 comes out. There's a lot of goods on this, commentaries, you know, fan art, and, you know, you got the Blu-ray and the DVD, so you can see it in the HD quality and all that stuff. But yeah, that's my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts on anything that I mentioned, your thoughts on the review, on the segment if you ended up watching it, anything else in between in the comment section. Be sure to thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. I will definitely be doing any and all things RWBY related in the future with Volume 3, any trailers that come out, the video game as well when that finally hits. I have one more or two more unboxing videos RWBY related. Waiting for the Volume 2 soundtrack. Come on, Rooster Teeth. It's already December. But I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Take care.